Deb Fair with Four Seasons Crafts, and I am going to show you a tutorial on how to make an accordion fold card. It's kind of like a mini album, and I got the idea from Jan B, her video. So I just wanted to show you a couple things that I thought might be helpful that maybe that I learned whenever I made the card. But let me show you. Basically, it's just a fold out album. And you can see it has lots of places for either photos or images, sentiments, all kinds of things. The back, let me show you that, is just plain blue in this case for the cardstock. And then the last image there is another piece of designer series paper. So this one, of course, I didn't decorate anymore other than just to do the paper. But I wanted to show you a couple different kinds as far as the different DSP. This is from the Golf series, designer series paper that's in the mini catalog for 2020. And then let me show you this one that I copied from her video. And I want to show you a little error that I made. But I absolutely love this sailing home paper. It's absolutely gorgeous and the colors are beautiful. This one, you'll notice I scored one area, or I didn't connect the papers correctly. So you'll see how this one's just a little wider. It looks okay on this side, but when I go through and we make the card, you'll see how this should all line up. And on this one, you'll see I kind of messed up right there. I think I could still send it to someone and they might not even notice that. But I did want to point it out that when you do this, this whole side should be flush like that. So we are going to make one with the lily pad paper. So the first thing you need is a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. And you're going to connect these two together and score them. So you need one that is 5.5 by 12 inches, and then you need another one that is 5.5 by 11 inches. Then you're going to take those two sheets of paper and you're going to score them. So first one is, we are going to take the one that is 12 inches, and I am going to use the new Stampin' Up! Trimmer, which is just wonderful. If you don't have one, you need to order one because it truly is a great trimmer. It holds the paper super well, and it trims and scores. So it's just, I think you'll really like it. So the first scoring line we're going to do is at 4 inches. So we're going to just line that right up on the line, and we are going to score it 4 inches, 7.5. So we're going to go right over here at 7.5. Oops, right on the line, and score it at 7.5. And then we are going to score it at 11. And what you should have is a 1 inch side right here. You'll see that little one. Then we're going to take the piece of cardstock horizontally here, and we are going to score this one at 3 inches. 6 inches, and what we're doing is we're going to connect these two together. So 3 inches, and now it's 6 inches, and then at 8.5. So we're going to move it right over here, 8.5, and there we go. All right, so we're done with our tool for that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go through and connect these pieces of paper, because these two sheets is what makes this big long back of our card. So kind of exciting. So it is the one time you kind of have to start out with a 12 by 12 piece of paper, but we are going to use the whole sheet of paper. So now we are going to, what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece right here, and actually we will fold it, we'll fold it this way, I believe. So we are going to, well, we'll turn it this way. So we're going to fold this piece so it's on top, and then you're going to, of course, make it like an accordion. This one then comes up, and the next one comes down. Oops, keep it on camera here. There we go. Okay, so that's that part of the card. So what we've done is we have these pieces right here. So now we can get an idea of how we should also bend this card. Okay, so let me put this one on top here. So this is what we have so far, if we can see that. So this is, of course, if you can see, these are our smaller pieces, which are these two right here. So we are going to bend it, kind of make a mountain. And then this is going to come up. And this one's going to come down. Again, just like an accordion here. So now if we lay this down, you'll see now we have our second part of our card. So now the little flap comes into play. And I'm going to take this card out of the way. Use that as our end of our marker here. So now if we sit here and we just bring it all together, and let's put, you'll see you want this flap on the outside. So if that's down below on the outside, that's on the outside, you will now see what you should have is a card that looks like this. So you should be able to, one, see all the kind of the accordion sides, and the other thing you should have is a straight edge so you don't mess up like I did. Then all of them should line up here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and glue, and you can use glue or you can use you know, tear and tape as well, something that's pretty strong. You don't want it to obviously come apart, so you might need something a little stronger than like just regular tape, you know, tape. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece right here, and we are going to put glue on that. Oops. And the one thing you don't want to do is to get too much in that crease, because you don't want to get glue in there. So I did exactly what I didn't want to do, but that's all right. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to put that right in there, and we're going to fold it down, because what we want to do is we want to make sure it's in there well, but we also want to make sure that it continues to line up nice and straight. So we're going to put it in there and then just push down to make sure you get a nice even line with your pieces. And then when you open it up, there you go. This is the base of your card. So that simple. And I just think, how nice is that? You can do so many different things and ways to decorate this card. I've really enjoyed making them. So then what you'll see is right here is where that fold comes together. So it's on the back side of our card. So that's when you want to make sure, again, that when you're gluing it, that it's there. Okay, well, let's go. So that's the base. So now let's go through some of our other measurements that we need for our other paper. So as you can see, we'll go back to this card, is we're going to layer it with a piece of cardstock, and then we're going to take a piece of DSP. So you need to find maybe 4 different pieces of DSP that you like that's double-sided. And that will give us literally our 8 pieces that we're going to need for our card. And then just pick a solid colored cardstock that matches. So I am going to be using the lily pad paper. I had some and I thought maybe you guys have some too. I thought that will be perfect. And then I'm going to use one of the colors that goes with the lily pad paper is Lovely Lipstick. So the base of the card is Bermuda Bay. And then we're going to use Lovely Lipstick for our base. And then we're going to use the Lovely Lily Pad. So let me give you the dimensions of each one of these and show them as we go. So I will lay this out here. So we'll start with the smallest and go to the largest actually. So we'll start on this side. So you're going to need 2 pieces that are 2 1/4 by 5 1/4, or I'm sorry. Oops. Sorry. Let me start with this. You're going to need 2 pieces that are 2 3/8 by 5 3/8. So 2 3/8 by 5 3/8, and these are going to sit right here on these 2 pieces. Then you're going to need 2 pieces that are 2 7/8 by 5 3/8, and those are going to fit right here. So you notice the pieces are getting bigger. Then you're going to need 2 pieces that are 3 3/8 by 5 3/8, and those are going to fit here. And then you're going to need 2 more pieces that are 3 7/8 by 5 3/8, and that is going to be here, and then you're going to have a piece back here. Okay, just to give you an idea. So that is your cardstock. So you'll want to cut, so you'll have 8 pieces total, 2 of each size. Now, I want to show you real quickly, I made these kind of templates because you need just 2 pieces of cardstock to get all of those pieces out. And so I wanted to show you if you cut them. So if you look at this, we'll turn it this way. So if you have this piece of cardstock, you can cut this piece out right here to be 2 3/8 and 2 3/8. So if you go 2 3/8 over, go straight down, and then you can cut it at 5 3/8, 5 3/8, and that'll give you those 2 pieces. Then here you can do the 3 7/8 and cut that off, and then again go 5 3/8 and 5 3/8. And then that will give you this whole strip that you still get to use for some other purpose. Like we can use it for die cutting for the card, and that way you don't waste. Then on your other piece of cardstock, you're going to do the 2 7/8 by 5 3/8. And then this one is the 3 3/8. And again, you have this nice piece left over for another card. Unfortunately, you're 1/16 of an inch off if you were to try to do 3 pieces. So let me show you what I mean. I was doing this earlier and I thought, oh, maybe I could have fit it on there. So if I can get all this on the camera, just real quickly, if you were to try to do all 3 pieces, it almost fits, but not quite. So you would have to maybe skim a little bit off, and then you could maybe use like 1.5 sheets of paper. But I'm always a fan of trying to use up all of a sheet instead of having leftovers. But that's not bad to make a beautiful card. So far we've used 1 piece of 12 by 12 and then 2 pieces of cardstock. So that's pretty good. The last thing you're going to need are those 4 pieces of designer series paper that have 2 sides, and that's what these are for. And you're going to cut these in. You need 2 pieces that are 2 1/4 by 5 1/4, and I'm sure you can probably figure it out. These are going to go right on top of the smallest ones. Then you're going to need two pieces of 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. And again, you'll see that's the same pattern, but we're going to use, one's going to be a solid, or one's going to be kind of the solid side. The other one's going to be the one that's decorative. Then we are going to use, we need two pieces that are 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. And that's what, oops, sorry, that's what these are. So again, we're going to do our solid. We're going to kind of go every other one for a pattern. And then you have two more that are 3 3/4 by 5 1/4. And again, depending on how we're doing our pattern here, you'll set it up this way. So now let me show you why you're going to kind of make it a pattern. If I, let's see, oops, yeah, sorry, I'm going to move this. I think I did this incorrectly on one of them here, so let's do it this way. So what you're going to notice once you glue all these down, so I just want you to see the look that you're going to get. So if we make it so the colors are on the outside, this is kind of what our card will look like. Of course, once we glue everything down, right? So now let's switch, because I think this is really important, because you're going to get a totally different look to your card depending on, you know, what side you choose. And that's what's kind of really nice kind of about doing this card as well, is you can get two totally different looks that you might want. So all I'm doing is flipping, so now you can see what would it look like if you chose the flower image over the solid image. And you can get an idea here now. So see that? It's just how do you think it would look better? And I gotta say, at first I was going to use the solid colors, but I'm thinking I kind of like those flowered images out there. Decisions. I'm not sure. I think I might use the pattern look instead. So now all you're going to glue those pieces together. You're going to glue each one of those pieces together on your fold. Now the one other thing you'll notice is this one has a nice ribbon around it. So you do have to put your ribbon in place before you lay down your front panel. So you'll want to make sure that this gets put down first. So if we go through now and let's glue all of these together, and then we can either use, I brought in some thinner ribbon, but the other thing I was thinking about trying with this one is instead of using the ribbon, I thought you could also do like a little belly band. I thought that might be kind of cute as well. And put that around it and decorate the front. So we might do that for this one instead. And this piece, by the way, you know how we had the 5 1/4 by 12, then the other one we had 5 1/4 by 11. Well, this was our leftover piece from our piece of paper. So we're going to use that, and that means we will have used the entire piece of 12 by 12 paper. So that's kind of neat. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and we're going to just go ahead and get out your glue, and we're going to glue all of these down, and we can see what it will look like. Do we get everything there? You're going to have really small margins here left over. So, but you can see just pretty paper. And once we get all of this together, it's going to make a beautiful card. So if any of you, maybe for Mother's Day, or if you want to do more of a masculine card, you could do it for Father's Day. And you could put in pictures in between. You could put in a poem or nice sayings. You could put anything you want on these little, or just stamps, different sentiments that you think you would like to use for any one of those. I think that would be beautiful. So hopefully during this time, depending on where you live, we live in a state where we're kind of in a little bit of a lockdown. So crafting, we can still do crafting. We can order from Stampin' Up. We can't go out and go to any craft stores, which is kind of a bummer, but don't need to do much because we can get everything we need from Stampin' Up, right? How nice is that? So we are getting lots of time to craft. And that is fun outside of work, of course. You don't have your day job, you know. All right, so we're going to keep moving through these and just make sure as you're going through them that you are getting both sides, if that makes sense. So we want to make sure we're not accidentally gluing down the wrong side, right? We want to make sure we get the right. Oops, let me see here. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I want to make sure I was getting the right image there. And in this case, I want the side of the purple because we have a little different. It's kind of going back and forth on some of these because there's so many different pretty colors, and you want to get a variety, right, for your card. So there's that one. We'll do this one. And then I think another card that would look really pretty with this is the Poppies paper. That's just absolutely gorgeous, and I think it would just make for a beautiful maybe Mother's Day or birthday mini album on this. Oops, I think I got a little bit of glue on there. Okay, we'll do these two right here, and then we are going to move on to putting them in our album, and then you guys are going to see just how easy this is. So one thing I am going to do is I'm going to start first by I'm not going to put the top layer on, only because I want to see kind of what it would look like if we use the belly band versus a ribbon. So we can experiment together on that one. Okay, so now I think we decided, and this is another great way that you can tell if you would, which way you would like to do your cards. So I'm going to separate out all the ones that are kind of more like a background, and then ones that are the pattern. And then we can take a look at what these would look like here. So as we go through, there they are. So which one do we think we want to use? So I think I'm really liking the pattern in the front. So I think that's how we'll do it. So this is what we need to do. When you lay them out on your card base, if we're going to use the flowers, which we will do, so we are going to say that we want to put those on all the folds that are layering out. And you'll see it's like that. Now again, we're not going to put that first one on because if we use ribbon, you're not going to want to glue this yet. But that's okay. So we can see right here. So let's first put those down, and we are just going to glue them right on our card. And I really would suggest that you do lay out your paper first in each section, just in case you accidentally, misread, or I don't know, I think maybe I've done it enough, right? I've made enough of those little mistakes, and you're like, oh, gotta start over or use another piece of cardstock. So you might find that you might like it just slightly, might work better if you lay them down first before you stick them in. Okay, now we're going to put this one down. I really do. The other thing I wanted to tell you is when you cut your designer series paper, make sure you know what direction your pattern is going. So if you are watching this, make sure as you cut your designer series paper that you know that the pattern is going to be up straight, long ways. So you're going to first cut it at across or horizontal, depending on which way the pattern's going. Like for this one, it was horizontal. And that way you're going to get the pattern to be upright when you actually glue it down. So if that makes sense. Okay. And we're just going to put that one right in there. Line it up. And there we go. And then we're going to hold off on that one. And now we're going to go ahead and put these in, because we know, and you can just see it. This is where once you cut your paper and you get your base, the rest of this is just layering and gluing. It's really, and then you get the fun part of decorating your card however you might like it. So I think it's one of those cards that looks like it's a lot more complicated than it actually is. It's much, much easier than we think, which is kind of nice. It's kind of nice that it's not too complicated. And I love the idea that you can use, if you have 1 or 2 pieces of designer series paper, there's nothing to say you need 4 separate patterns. You could do every other line easily on each one. Now in this one, I am making it so this one, the white was on the top. This one, I'm going to make it so kind of the stroke mark is on the bottom. So it just provides another, again, just a little bit of a different look there. And then do this one here. And we'll go this way. Do every other one look here. And you can have a little smudge on there, so we'll need to make sure I fix a little glue smudge. Make sure we cover that up. All right, so here we go. And then of course we have one more piece, and that is going to go on the back here. And we will glue that on. It is a thick card, but if you wanted to, and you wanted to add more layers and more sides and data, like information, you can tell I'm in the technology, right? More data. If you wanted to add more information, more pictures, more sentiments, you actually could go and put more things on the back of here. It would make it a little bit more bulky, but you could do it. It's totally doable. So this is now our card. We have everything except for that front panel, because we're going to look and see how a belly band will work. So I am going to pull that over. So this is 10 inches. So I've cut 2 inches off. And then I scored it about 2.5 inches in. So what I did was I actually laid it on top of our card. So when I said, okay, card's about 4 inches across, right? And if you just pinch it down on the 2 sides, you are going to get the first marking. And then this is roughly, I believe it's a quarter of an inch right here. And then you do that, score it 1 line and then another 1/4 inch, and then that's what's going to give you that nice little part there to wrap around. So I went ahead and printed a few little things to put on the outside that are from the lily pad design. So I thought we could glue this kind of on the outside here first. And so I'm just going to dot this a little bit here and glue it down in the center. And it's going to hang over a little bit, but I'm not going to glue it right on the edges because obviously we don't want that to come up. And then I thought we could glue, I have a couple different things here. We could glue maybe like a little lily pad over here, and then maybe one right here. So just a couple different little designs, maybe one just in the middle, and put that up on dimensionals. And then let's see what that might look like in the middle there. And just take a look before we decide if this is what we want to do or if we want to do something else. Like, we can decorate it some more. But I don't know. I don't know if I like that or not. So it looked like that versus our ribbon. So if this was a live, I would ask you guys to vote. So I think we might go with the ribbon. But guys, that's an option right there. The little belly band is an option. So let me show you how this works with the ribbon. Okay, we're going to take that ribbon over there. And what you're going to do is you are going to measure about 12 inches. Okay, and then you're going to measure another 12 inches. And that puts us right about here. Oops. And then we are going to cut this. Okay, so now what we're going to do, now that we've cut our ribbon, what we want to do is we want to take it out. And we need about, so we're going to first take it around our card. And we're going to want to make it so they're both in the same spot. And this was another little trick I noticed that Jan did in her video, which I'm just going to point it out because she probably does it all the time. She doesn't even realize it. We need about 2 inches extra. So wrap it around our finger, and that's really about where we need the 2 pieces, or this piece, to be. Okay, so we're going to hold this piece right here, and this is where we need them, this piece to line up. Okay, so we are going to leave that piece there and drag this piece through. So you're going to have an extra tail there if you can see, but this roughly is where we're going to need that. Now my ribbon is a little, I'm going to make sure it stays right there, and I'm going to just lay that so it's flat. And then we're just going to lay something because we don't want our ribbon to move here as we are going to need to glue something down. So if you have something that's a little heavy that you can lay on top of it, that would be great. I'll just lay, oops, that's not going to work. Need something really heavy. Tell you what, we're going to take our paper cutter and just kind of set it right there on top of it. And we are going to make sure it's centered, make sure your ribbon is in the right place. And now we are going to go ahead and glue this down. Okay, and now as we glue it, just make sure that your ribbon is straight. And then you're going to go ahead and layer that right down on the card so it is centered. And we're just going to push down on that. Again, make sure your ribbon is straight under your card. That way you don't get any kind of a lump, because it's amazing. Even though it's a piece of ribbon under there, it's like you can't even tell. And then now if we just take it around, you can see we can easily wrap it around. I am left-handed, and one thing I have found, I'm going to show this to you guys. When I tie a bow, see how it's like upside down? So what I found is if I do it this way, pick the card here a little bit. Oops. There we go. I found sometimes if I tie it upside down, then it lays correctly. There we go. For the person to see it. So, and you'll see that now we can actually then trim our ribbon a little bit here so that it looks, there we go. So very nice. Very nice, very nice. And then what you can do, and I printed a couple of these boxes and some other images with flowers. You could then take this now and decorate it. And you could put a few boxes in here with either a sentiment, little picture if you wanted to on some of these, and then actually also take some of these just adorable little flowers and leaves and put those even in the corner here of some of them. And any one of these sides. So again, you can do a lot of beautiful decorations, but I just wanted to share that with you. I thought it was just a beautiful card, and hopefully you can go in and try it yourself and just see how easy it really is to make. But again, when you glue all these things down, you'll see a nice finished product. So I will post this video and the measurements that you need. So I hope you enjoyed it and have fun making it.